All right. Season 2, go.
Welcome to the Hollywood vs. Hollywood podcast. I'm your host, HT, joining you with my co-host, the Bearheart himself, Michael Herbert.
We're back, baby.
We released season 1 over the summer, and now it's time for the sequel, the part 2 of Hollywood vs. Hollywood. Season 2 begins today. How do you feel after getting into season 2, Michael? How do you feel about getting into season 2?
You know, I feel like we set the bar really high. I'm really happy with how our first 10 episodes came out. We've gotten a really great response, and I'm happy to be back here for what we're calling season 2.
Today we are starting the season off with 2 part 2 sequels. Michael, tell me which 2022 movie I'm describing. 1 year after a major event takes place, and the outside world is trying to get their country's resources, the leader of an indigenous people must protect their country. They decide to go visit another nation of aquamarine people who live by the ocean. They also form a sibling-like bond with the person who the bad guy is after. As the plot unfolds, the leader is forced into conflict and must face the bad guy on a giant warship on the high seas. After all the conflicts are resolved, the protagonist dreams about the person they have lost and finds peace. Which movie am I describing?
I can think of 2 films that you might be describing. We're talking about Avatar, The Way of Water, and Black Panther, Wakanda Forever.
Let's start with Avatar 2, The Way of Water. Do they have 2 in the name?
No, neither film has the number 2 in it.
Okay, even though they're both number 2s. Avatar, The Way of Water. Play the trailer, Michael.
Why do you come to us?
The humans are returning.
They're hunting us. You do not know the sea.
We will learn your ways.
If you want to live here, you have to ride.
We must protect the people.
Let's get it done. Avatar, The Way of Water. Experience it in 3D. Rated PG-13. Tickets on sale now.
What is Avatar 2 about?
Avatar 2 is about the continued adventures of Jake Sully, former human, current Na'vi, and his efforts to protect his family from the same villain from the previous film, who is Stephen Lang.
Exciting times. What is the audience score for Avatar 2?
All right, Avatar, The Way of Water, rated PG-13 with a running time 3 hours and 12 minutes, has a Rotten Tomatoes score of 76% with an audience score of 92% and a 3.6 out of 5 on Letterboxd.
That's really, people really care about the environment, I guess.
Yeah, Letterboxd is a tougher crowd, though.
Let's move on to Wakanda. Play the trailer, Michael.
A war is coming.
There is a new world power.
He's the king of an underwater civilization.
Without the Black Panther, Wakanda will fall.
Michael, what is Black Panther Wakanda Forever about?
Black Panther Wakanda Forever is about how the family of King T'Challa and the nation of Wakanda are going to move on after the passing of our OG Black Panther. Very sad. And how they're going to overcome a new nemesis in Namor? Namor? And the people of Talokan. There's a lot of names.
Difficult to pronounce.
In both.
Namor is easy.
Namor is easy. Talokan?
You want to get to the bottom of this?
Talokan. That's it, yeah.
You got it, Talokan. That's not how Namor pronounces it, though.
Talokan?
Talokan, yeah, I think that
Talokan?
sounds... Yeah, I like those feathered feet.
He's got little feathers on his ankles.
What is the Rotten Tomatoes?
Black Panther Wakanda Forever, rated PG-13 with a trim running time of 2 hours and 41 minutes. Has a Rotten Tomatoes score of 84%, an audience score of 94%, and a 3.4 out of 5 on Letterboxd.
Very, very high scores from the audience for both movies.
In the 90s on both.
Yeah. Both are great movies to watch on the big screen, especially. and they're both part 2 to successful movies.
And this is season 2, and you pitched me this movie pairing. Was that a thought that we were going to do 2 part 2s for episode 1 of season 2?
No, this is strictly providential. Is that the right word?
Coincidence?
Providence? I want to say providence.
This was directed by God, is what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
The universe sent this to us. I was watching Wakanda Forever after watching Avatar 2 in the theater, and when the boat thing was going on with all the blue people on it, I'm like, this looks remarkably similar.
It's the same damn movie.
Yeah, and then I suggested it to you, and then as we researched, it was kind of obvious that they're very twin movies.
Yeah, you didn't have to pitch me too hard on this one.
Some of the great part 2s are Godfather 2, Aliens, Terminator 2, Judgment Day, The Dark Knight, The Empire Strikes Back, Evil Dead 2, Spider-Man 2, RoboCop 2, X2, X-Men United. Do you have any part 2s to add to the list? And what is your favorite part 2?
I think the only one that I have written down that you did not mention is Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers.
It has the 2 in the title. The Two Towers.
2 Towers, it does, yes. Must be Providence. I saw Empire Strikes Back when I was a child. I'm sure that my mind was sufficiently blown, but I do remember being in the theater for The Dark Knight and being stunned and walking out in a daze. That was quite the theatrical experience.
How did you feel after Matrix Reloaded?
Well, actually, my question to you about Matrix Reloaded is it bad?
It's pretty bad. I mean,
You think it's bad?
my opinion about the second and third, and even the fourth Matrix, is unbearable.
I think people are going to come around on Matrix Reloaded a little bit.
All right.
Even if it's one of those fake backlash to the backlash things,
Yeah. Okay. They're not as bad as we think they are.
I think that's very true.
My favorite number 2 is Aliens, which is a James Cameron movie, much like Avatar 2.
He also did Terminator 2, so he's got a history of solid number 2s.
Are you ready to get wet and swim these 2 movies against each other?
What a start to season 2.
Women will get pregnant. Aircraft windshields will be shattered by pointy projectiles. But only one movie can emerge a true Hollywood champion in the Hollywood versus Hollywood podcast.
So the word buttholes appears on the screen in Avatar font.
All right, you bald-headed demon. That's the
Bald-headed
point.
demon. I'm going to call you that.
We have a very simple process. Each movie will compete in 19 rounds today, and it will be granted a point if it wins the round. In the end, whichever movie has the most total points wins this episode of the Hollywood versus Hollywood podcast. The other movie gets dehydrated. Michael and
You had a long hiatus to come up with these jokes. You're not disappointing.
Michael and I are also allowed the ace up the sleeve. Michael, what is the ace up the sleeve?
The ace up the sleeve brings an end to the debate in any category. You and I can play it once per episode and grant the point to the film of our choosing in any specific category.
And what is the pocket rockets?
Well, you're calling it that. Each ace up the sleeve is susceptible to being Uno reversed by another ace. So I could pull my ace and you could throw yours right back in my face and reverse the point and vice versa.
Yeah, that has, last season had some exciting...
You love twisting that knife. You love it.
And
then you immediately, in the following category, you're like, I should have saved my ace.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. Round 1. Which movie won the release date? Avatar 2 was released on December 16th, 2022. Wakanda Forever was released on November 11th, 2022. Tell me, Michael, which movie hit the waves first?
Sounds like Black Panther won the race to the theaters.
Put it on the board, Michael. Round 2. Which movie won the box office? We know the answer. Avatar 2.
I hadn't thought about it until we got to the category, but I recognized when we got here that Avatar is the box office juggernaut of all time, yeah.
Avatar 2, with a budget of $250 million US, grossed $2.32 billion.
Unbelievable.
$1 billion worldwide.
And is that the highest grossing of all time?
It's not.
It's not.
Wakanda Forever with a budget of at least $200 million. There's no solid figure. Some say it's as high as 250, so these movies might have the same budget.
Mickey's playing it close to the chest.
It grossed $859 million.
Respectable.
Between Avatar 2 and Wakanda Forever, which movie won the box office, Michael?
Avatar's taking home its first point.
And do you know how many movies have grossed over $2 billion?
I know that we discussed the 1 billion mark last season, and there was like 50. It was a
52.
Shocking number of films. This is a higher bar. Is it less than 10?
Yes.
6.
That's absolutely the right number.
I'm the smartest man alive.
This is the list.
Wait, well, let me try and guess some.
Okay.
Avatar 2.
Yes.
Avengers Endgame.
Yes.
Infinity War?
Yes.
Avatar 1.
Yes.
There's 2 more, huh?
There's one more James Cameron in there.
Is it Titanic?
Yes.
Really? It hit the 2. Is that 2 billion with inflation?
It's in 2012 it reached 2 billion.
Wow.
It only took it 16 years. Whereas for Endgame it took I want to say 11 days.
Wow.
So
there's one other film not directed by James Cameron, and it is a Marvel movie or is not?
it's now owned by Disney, but back then it was it's Disney's first Lucas movie.
Force Awakens.
The Force Awakens.
Wow.
Yeah. So, short list of 6 movies.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Movies are big
and they're
business.
all owned by Disney now.
Are they all?
Holy smokes.
Oh my God, Disney, yeah.
I don't know about Titanic.
Titanic might be 20th century.
Yeah. Well, no, because 20th century, this is a terrible train of thought we've gone down.
Yeah, stop.
I regret the Disney comment.
So Infinity War made $1 billion in 11 days. The Force Awakens made $1 billion in 12 days.
Wow.
Titanic crossed $2 billion in 2012. Avatar 2, which was released during the pandemic, was the first movie to make $2 billion during the pandemic in 39 days. Avatar, the first one, did $1 billion in 19 days. And, $2 billion in 11 days for Endgame. Pretty impressive.
Impressive.
Cheers to the studios raking it in. Not paying the writers enough, though.
Pay the writers.
Round 3. Which movie has the better title? What do you think, Michael?
I don't know. I don't spend any time thinking about this until we get here. Why is that?
Speak from the heart.
Wakanda Forever, to me, is a solid title. It's referenced in the first film and in Infinity War. I think Black Panther also says Wakanda Forever. The Way of Water, I struggle with that moment of the movie where the premise of The Way of Water is described.
It'll come up during dialogue.
It felt a little forced. So my gut says that I prefer Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. What are you thinking?
Agreed. Ever since I watched Bagheera in The Jungle Book, I've always been into Black Panthers. You put Black Panther in there, I'm in. When I used to play with G.I. Joes, I always picked Snake Eyes over Storm Shadow. So those are all of my reasons. But Wakanda Forever, man.
All right, we find ourselves in total agreement here. 3 rounds into season 2.
Point Wakanda Forever. Round 4. Which movie has the best leading actor? This is a very simple one for me, but why don't you tell me what you think?
Sam Worthington is the lead performer as Jake Sully in Avatar: The Way of Water, and Letitia Wright plays Shuri in Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. Sam Worthington feels like one of those white male actors who was just kind of forced upon us as a society for a period of time. He was in Terminator Salvation. He was in Clash of the Titans and Wrath of the Titans.
Some people like those movies.
I haven't seen either.
I've watched a little bit of Clash, and very forgettable. For me. I know some people like those movies.
Sam Worthington's, or maybe it's more Jake Sully. Jake Sully is absent in a lot of Avatar: The Way of Water. We spend a lot of time with other characters. We spend a lot of time with one of his sons, Loak, And before I wrote Sam Worthington down in the leading actor category here, I had to consider whether Loak was actually the lead performer of the movie. What do you think?
Because of the way the movie's made, Sam Worthington is the lead performer, but you're right. He's absent a lot of the movie, and for a while, it's Loak's movie. I know I sent you best scene, my Avatar 2 best scene earlier. Even that giant fish is like a character for some of the movie.
And he's the whale, the space whale, the giant fish. Yeah, and I would say that there are a lot of other characters that maybe are more memorable too.
Glad that you brought that up. When Avatar 2 came out, did you remember anything about Jake Sully or the name of the character from the first Avatar?
The first Avatar is much more Jake Sully focused.
But did you remember the name Jake Sully?
Yes.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
I did not. All right, continue.
I don't really have a problem with Sam Worthington. I think he's a decent enough actor.
Is he interchangeable with Liev Schreiber?
Well, Shriver's older, but Sam Worthington is the slightly more successful version of Taylor Kish, who was also kind of thrust upon us as film watchers. You know, I don't want to be totally down on Sam Worthington. Like I said, I think he's a decent enough actor. And I think the question of whether or not he's the lead actor of Avatar 2 is not up to Sam Worthington. And I also wanted to mention that Sam Worthington is in a movie called The Debt, which came out in 2010, which is a movie I really like.
Have you seen Man on a Ledge?
No, but I've heard good things.
That's a good one.
So he's not given a ton to do as the lead of this movie, and he's not on screen for a large swath of the film, and that definitely hurts his chances in this category. Whereas Letitia Wright as Shuri really is front and center in Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. She's given a lot more to do. Her character is fleshed out. She carries the movie on her shoulders and bears it. It's a very emotional movie, and she's asked to emote quite a bit, and I find her performance grounded, believable. I think she's got comedic timing, but I find her engaging throughout and really enjoyed her performance.
Yeah, I think we're in agreement here. She has a lot more to do. The directing supports it, the costume design, which we'll get into, the production design, all of these things support her in every way. Here's my question to you, though. It's an easy one for Letitia Wright, and I agree with you. If Zoe Saldana, if Avatar 2 had Zoe Saldana as a lead, what does the conversation become about Letitia Wright?
I like Zoe Saldana a lot. I think she's a great actress. I think she has a ton of screen presence, and I think it's tough to see her as number 2 to Sam Worthington, and she's number 2 to Chris Pratt in Guardians.
Zoe Saldana is awesome. But the reason I brought this question to you is that I think if she was the lead of Avatar 2 and we compared her to Letitia Wright, I think Letitia Wright would have a strong argument for her also against Zoe Saldana's character. Yeah. And so it's not just that Letitia Wright is getting this point because Sam Worthington doesn't have much to do. It's because she's actually bringing a lot to the table. She has screen presence, she has charisma, she has an emotional journey, and I think Letitia Wright stands on her own 2 feet very strongly.
And she literally has to step into Chadwick Boseman's shoes.
Yeah, which is a tough beat, and she does a really great job.
I think she does it really well. So I think it sounds like we are largely in agreement that Letitia Wright is bringing home the point for best lead actor.
Put it on the board for Black Panther 2, Wakanda Forever. Round 5. Which movie has the best rest of the cast? Meaning everyone except the lead actors. This one's super easy again for me. Let's start with Avatar 2. Avatar 2 has, as you mentioned, stalwarts. Zoe Saldana, Sigourney Weaver, Kate Winslet. I thought she was great in it. Stephen Lang, Cliff Curtis. I really like Cliff Curtis. I really like him in Live Free or Die Hard.
I got a little list here of Cliff Curtis roles because He's an unsung hero, whether you know it or not.
Give me the list.
Well, he plays Pablo Escobar in Blow.
Oh, he does?
So he's one of these guys who...
He's that guy?
He's that guy, but he's that guy of ethnicity. Like, I don't exactly know what his native ethnicity is, but he is called upon often to play Latino, Middle Eastern, pretty much anything you need that isn't white. Cliff Curtis is there for you. And he's awesome. So Blow, Training Day.
He is in Training Day. Oh, yeah, he is.
He's in that scene with Tuco Salamanca when they're playing cards. He's in Sunshine. You mentioned Live Free or Die Hard. You know, I like bringing the takes to the table. I'm a fan. I'm a fan of Live Free or Die Hard.
I recently rewatched it. It's really good.
And he was in Dr. Sleep not too long ago, which I really like.
Yeah, so... that's my list, actually, because there's a whole bunch of young actors in Avatar 2.
We got Edie Falco's in there.
Yeah.
Jermaine Clement is in there. And I think it's worth mentioning because these characters have so much screen time. Britton Dalton plays Loak, and Jamie Flatters plays Neteyam.
And they're both older now since the time that they played these characters.
It's probably 5 or 6 years, right? Since Avatar 2 was shot.
Yeah. So what do you think of that cast?
It's a really respectable cast. It's a little odd to have Sigourney Weaver voicing a blue teen alien creature.
Is it even a teen? I think it's like younger than a teen, like a 10-year-old or something.
It might be. And there's stuff going on there with her. She is the child of the Avatar body that the Sigourney Weaver doctor used to inhabit, and no one knows who the father is. It's the planet.
Is it?
It's going to be.
It's going to be, yeah.
100%.
That's predictable. You're right.
So that's weird.
That's gonna come into Avatar 3.
I think I think one of the best things you can say about the performances in Avatar 2 is I think the actors get really lost. Looking at the list of actors in preparation for this podcast, I did not put the voices to names. For the most part, the performances are successful in the film.
Okay, let's get to Wakanda Forever. Angela Bassett, she's awesome in this movie. And it almost feels like she's in a different movie. Like she's going for an Oscar in a superhero movie.
She was nominated, right?
I think so, yeah. And it's a strong performance. Then we have Lupita Nyong'o, who I felt was kind of underutilized. Then we have Danai Gurira, who plays Okoye. I really like her in this movie. A lot of stuff to do for her. We have Winston Duke as M'Baku. I really enjoyed his performance in this movie.
Give Winston Duke more parts. He's been in like 5 movies, and 3 of them are MCU movies, and I love him. I love every minute of him on screen. I rewatched Us not too long ago, and he's totally being underutilized by Hollywood right now. He's funny. He can be intimidating. He can, do the dramatic moments. Big Winston Duke fan over here.
Same here. We have Tina Huerta as Namor, the child without love, and we also have a garnish of Martin Freeman and Julia Louis-Dreyfus. And for the dessert,
that's a good way of putting it. Garnish, I like that. Yeah.
For dessert, we have Michael B. Jordan and the late and great Chadwick Boseman in some scenes, and then that's it. What do you think of that cast?
It's a great cast. I think one of the things that differentiates these 2 movies is how the cast is used. Angela Bassett aimed for an Oscar because she could, because she's given a great platform. She's given moments where the movie really stops to hear what she has to say. And her dialogue is excellent. I was reviewing some of the quotes for our best quote category, and it's amazing to see the text in black and white, and then to think of the performance and what a difference a great actor can make breathing life and emotion into what are otherwise just words on a page. So
Yeah.
pay the actors more. Pay them more. Better residuals. Get this AI out of here.
I felt that the cast was used, whereas in Avatar 2, the cast was just kind of hiding behind all the bells and whistles of these great blue creatures that they made. To give the movie where credit is due, Avatar 2 has incredible effects, which we will get into when we talk about directing and cinematography. But as far as the utilization of cast, I think you said, I don't know which episode you said this about, but I could probably tell you, you said this about Civil War, which is I could probably tell you what each character does in the movie.
Yeah.
I remember iconic moments from each actor, each character doing something on the movie. They have memorable actions, they have screen presence, they have charisma, and the costumes are beautiful, the set design is beautiful. It's like firing on all cylinders. Oh, their dialects are really well done by all the actors. They're three-dimensional characters.
Something else I noticed rewatching the film for this podcast is that each character gets a lot of opportunity to bounce off other different characters. There's so much opportunity for people, for the actors to show us who their character is in the light of all the other different characters in the movie. It sounds like we agree on yet another round here today, HT.
This is really odd. We normally don't go this long in agreement. Hopefully we'll get into some, battles going down the line. The point goes to Wakanda Forever for best rest of the cast. Round 6. Which movie has the best scene? In this round, Michael and I agree on the scene we think is the best scene in each movie, and then we decide which movie has the best scene. Let's talk about the best scene in Avatar 2, The Way of Water. Well, you know what my scene is. Why don't you tell me what your scenes are first? Because chronologically, I think my
Okay, I didn't write your scenes down, and I should have, but the scenes that I have from Avatar, The Way of Water, are Loak bonding with Payakan, who is he's not rogue, he is shunned. He is the shunned.
Exiled?
Yeah, space whale. Who's just misunderstood. You get those POV shots from the whale, and you get the feeling of how they communicate. The middle third of the movie is really about establishing the bonds between not just Loak and Payakan, working on getting these names down, but also the rest of the water people's connection with the other space whales and their environment and the dragon swordfish like creatures that they ride around. The second
Wait, hold on. I want to tell you something.
Hit me with it.
When I was watching this movie, I was like, what is this 20-minute slow-ass documentary about like a whale in the water and
I
a
had
boy?
the exact same thought.
So while I respect the character building, the bonding, and all that, I would not call this the best scene because I was literally ready to leave the theater when this was happening.
I thought that Avatar, The Way of Water, could be two films. It could be the action-adventure, which a lot of people, I think, were happy to pay money for and watch in glorious 3 dimensions. And the other would be a Planet Earth-style documentary, Planet Pandora. And James Cameron could then present us with as many screensavers as he'd like. And frankly, I'd probably watch it. There are slow periods of this film. I will agree with you.
What's your next scene?
So we've discussed this scene before because it incited a pretty pivotal change in my life. This is the whale chase and murder scene wherein the sky people take their hover ship craft. They chase down one of our, I forget the general name for the whales. Is it Ulakan? Ulatan?
No, it's with a T.
Tulakan?
Tulakan.
Tulakan. They chase down one of the space whales.
Just call them space whales.
And it's brutal. It's brutal. And it goes on and on and on. And you get the harpoons with the balloons. You get the notion that they have cornered the mother whale that has recently birthed a calf because the calf swims slowly, and then the whale will not leave the calf alone, will not abandon it. You get the explosive harpoon. Ugh, it just goes on and on and on. And this scene really, really, really left an impact on me when I saw it in theaters. And I had been kind of leaning this direction anyway, but a few weeks after watching this scene in theaters and thinking about it, I became a vegetarian.
Yeah, and you've been pretty good at it. It's been, what, over a month now? 2 months?
6 weeks.
6 weeks, yeah. Yeah, and it shows. It shows. You have a glow about you, you know? I have been defeated by tacos every single time.
You love tacos. You do love tacos.
When I first watched this movie, I had the same reaction as you, which is it felt like a 20-minute scene. This time, I was surprised how short the scene is.
I agree.
But when I watched it the first time, I was like, I think this is going on for 20 minutes, and I feel really bad for this giant space whale. Continue.
That's all I have to say about that.
I would say it's a great scene, but I want you to listen to my nominee.
I'm ready to hear it.
So this addresses our man, what was his name? Pakaran? Parakan.
Which man?
Parakan. Parakan the Tulakan.
Payakan.
Payakan? Okay, Payakan, who is Loak's friend, and Payakan, who is also a giant space whale. He gets a complete character arc in segment of the climactic battle scene in the movie.
The Payakan sumo drop.
Yeah. So Payakan launches himself out of the water. Okay, let me set this up for you. As Jake is about to surrender, Payakan sees that Loak is captured. Payakan, who is not supposed to be violent, which is the reason he's been shunned out, struggles with not being able to strike. But he forsakes tradition, bashes around a bunch of rocks, and then finally decides to strike to save his friend. He launches himself out of the water and crashes onto the enemy's giant gunship. Chaos erupts. The enemy tries to kill him. He destroys the bridge. He bounces a harpoon off his hammerhead. He crushes a soldier under his flap. The sequence continues where Kiri controls water plants to crush a submarine that is chasing her.
The harpoon deflection was
A good moment.
was sick.
In the meantime, Jake also makes Quaritch fall off his mountain banshee, which is that giant bird. And finally, Payakan catches the harpoon from Scoresby's boat and proceeds to tie up the boat with a steel cable attached to the harpoon. And ultimately, the steel cable cuts Scoresby's arm. Payakan's story arc is concluded. What do you think of that scene?
An arm for a fin. I'm assuming you have another scene.
No, this is it.
Oh, this is it. You're coming to bat with one scene.
This is the scene.
It's the best scene. You're right. It's definitely the most uproarious scene of the film. And it's great to see the, sky people get what for.
Yeah. I love the scene. This is my nominee. You want to go with it?
Yeah, it strikes me that Payakan has more complex motivations as a character than pretty much everyone else in the film. So, yeah, this feels like the right choice.
I was surprised because when he was like bashing around the rocks underneath, the first time I didn't get it. But this time I was like, oh, he's struggling with making a decision.
Yeah, with the moral choice. I like it.
All right, let's go to Wakanda Forever scenes. I have the opening funeral parade, which has some iconic shots of Main Street Wakanda. It has beautiful slow motion dancing, beautiful costumes, beautiful makeup, beautiful music, and it does not have a single line of dialogue, but it is a very emotional funeral and celebratory at the same time. Letitia Wright and Angela Bassett killing it with just facial expressions. We see a billboard of Chadwick Boseman's picture as the Black Panther. Shuri puts her head on Black Panther's casket, and it's just a very, very powerful scene. What do you think?
It's the perfect opener. I think everybody went to the theaters wondering, how are they going to handle Chadwick Boseman's passing, his very untimely passing, and how do you pass the torch to a new Black Panther? I think the tone is pitch perfect. I didn't put this on my list of best scenes because I'm a coward.
Well, we normally go for a more action-oriented scene.
Yeah. I think it had the highest level of difficulty. Not just the funeral scene is great, but the scene that leads into that, where Shuri is attempting to recreate the heart-shaped herb quickly in a last-ditch effort to save T'Challa's life. It's tasteful, it's effective, it's emotional, and right at the start of this movie, you're introduced to all the tools that are going to be put to use throughout the film. Letitia Wright's performance, Angela Bassett's performance, quality dialogue writing, a really brilliant and complex score from our buddy Ludwig. So it really hits the ground running.
What's your nominee?
I like the fight on the bridge. I walked away from this viewing just astounded by the Okoye character played by Danai Gurira. She is just outstanding. She's been outstanding as a bit player in the MCU. Now they give her something to do, they're giving her a little more to chew on, and she just elevates every scene. The fight on the bridge becomes her scene. It's unlikely that you're going to be impressed with a fight scene anymore. It feels like we've kind of seen everything. But her level of fight confidence that she brings to that scene, and there's a shot where the blue guy, one of the citizens of, these names, Talakan, he strikes her spear with his implement of fighting, some sort of club. She's thrust backwards, and despite the friction of her feet on the ground and her spear in the pavement, she just kind of keeps sliding back. And it's also one of the first times you see on her face a lack of confidence. It adds a lot of dimension to the character. I walked away from this viewing being so impressed with that performance. And then
Is this the first time the water grenades were used?
Yeah, I was going to say that for best shot.
Okay.
And then I think your other scene comes next chronologically, if you want to talk about that.
Much like the funeral scene, I think the strengths of Black Panther, you were saying we've seen pretty much every action before, and we normally don't pick emotional scenes, but I think the strengths of Wakanda Forever are in the emotional scenes. And so my next nominee is one of a very emotional scene in the movie, which is when after Shuri gets taken from the bridge, the throne room scene where Okoye gets stripped of her rank. Okoye wants to go on and rescue Shuri, but Queen Ramonda, Angela Bassett, gives her Oscar-worthy performance with a great dialogue, which we will bring up when we talk about dialogue. It's a truly epic scene, the way it's shot, the location, the production design,
it's the
costumes.
Performances, though.
But also, the epicness and the performance.
They literally dressed it up.
The editing, whatever she says, how Okoye reacts to it, it's just firing on so many cylinders that it's hard to deny the greatness of this scene. And then, the stabbing of the spear into the ground before she leaves. And Danai Gurira matches Angela Bassett's intensity in her response, in how she emotionally reacts to Angela's outburst. So I thought this was a great scene.
It starts with great writing. It leaves room for great performances. It's managed by great directing. And it's enhanced by all these other things, the art direction and the costuming, that notion of the spear in the ground and that being the way we leave that scene. Very effective. It's a great scene.
That's all I have. Do you have any others to add?
I was going to cheat, actually, and say that scene and the other council scene where M'Baku is talking to the village elders when our new Black Panther drops in on them is just it's just a ton of fun. This is a dark movie and sad. It's sad, very sad. So there's, it's just a great moment of levity. The reveal of our new Black Panther.
Yeah, we have to make a choice here. What do you think?
I think you trounced me with the best scenes this episode. I like that council scene a lot. I like the opening scene a lot.
So I really like the opening funeral scene.
Let's just call it that then.
Yeah,
because
right.
I think no matter what, it's gonna beat The Way of Water. Beat the pants right off The Way of Water.
Well, if you were comparing the action scenes, then I think The Way of Water would win. Well, how do you want to vote? I like both scenes.
I think
because I think the Way of Water scene that we've picked is the best culmination of all of the emotional arcs. Where Kiri now has her powers, where Jake trumps over Colonel Payakan, gets his emotional arc. So there are things going on besides the action in this scene.
So, I said that I felt like a coward for not putting the funeral scene on my best scene list here. I'd like to correct that and have my own Payakan moment here and say it's the scene with the highest degree of difficulty. And I know that you approach this category usually through the lens of, if this is a superhero film, then we should have a kind of a superhero scene. And where the same thing, if it's an action adventure film like Avatar, then we should focus on an action adventure scene. But I think it's undeniable that funeral scene flies in the face of our expectations and is amazing when it really has no right to be.
Yeah, it's a great opening to the movie. So yeah, I'm with you. Let's give it to Wakanda Forever.
All right.
Best scene, Wakanda Forever. Round 7. Best title drop. Movie's name stated in a scene. I love a good title drop. Both movies do it. Avatar 2 does it a couple of times when Saraya says it to Loak when teaching him to breathe, and then Loak says it to Jake when teaching him to breathe, which is this poem-ish that James Cameron wrote, which is, "The way of water has no beginning and no end. Yada, yada, yada. I'm falling asleep over here." So that's Avatar 2. And then we have Wakanda Forever, where Black Panther does it in a very big way. At the end battle on the Sea Leopard, which is the giant ship that they're battling on, the Wakandans in dire straits, end of the line, and then suddenly the music starts swelling. And Namor and Black Panther Shuri return to announce the end of the battle. The blue people lay their arms down, and the music swells even more. And the camera goes to the Black Panther, and she says, in the most epic way, say it with me, Michael, Wakanda Forever! And then the rest of the Wakandans join in. Wakanda Forever. It's an amazing title drop. That's what we want in movies. Clear winner here. What do you think?
I think I need to preface to say that neither are true title drops, because it would be impossible to say Avatar, The Way of Water, or Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, and make that sound organic. But yes, that is, I will be flexibly flexible this time around and agree with you that we'll call Wakanda Forever a title drop, and it is certainly the better of the two.
Put it on the board, Michael. I'm glad I was able to convince him. Round 8. Best music moment / needle drop. Now, this is Michael's specialty because he's into music and stuff. I'm curious how you think about this one. Avatar 2's composer is Simon Franklin. As a film composer, his only films of note are 2016's The Magnificent Seven and this movie, and both of which he took over from composer James Horner, who died in a plane crash in 2015, and that explains why his arranger. Do you know what a music arranger does?
An arranger would take previously established music, the written music, and rearrange it. They would take the themes, they could take and repurpose themes from the first Avatar and bring them into the new film in a new order or a new way. It's repurposing previously written music.
Yeah, so, he got upgraded to composer, but his skills are more on the technical sides, and I think it shows. But I did want to, because James Horner came up, I did want to mention James Horner filmography real quick, because he did score Avatar 1. And his scores include Contact, Courage Under Fire, Jumanji, Deep Impact, The Mask of Zorro, Ransom, Apollo 13, and it's a long, long list. So, it's a sad loss, but the composer of this movie is now James Horner. It is Simon Franklin.
I think Simon was put in an awkward position here because James Horner previously established the Avatar theme. I don't know that the Avatar theme is much to write home about, but it is there. The score for Avatar, The Way of Water, really becomes a shadow of James Horner's work from the first film. I think it's not featured throughout. When it does come through, it plays second fiddle to the visuals one thing I did notice, and I guess this would fall under the category of arranging, but to me it felt like a tip of the cap to James Horner, is that there's this little thing that James Horner does with trumpets in a lot of his films, and it goes na 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 na. And now that that's in your head, anytime you watch a James Horner movie, you're gonna be like, oh god damn it.
Yeah, so that's in Avatar 1 a lot, and they underutilized that in Avatar 2. And I think it was very effective in Avatar 1. But I know exactly what you're talking about, and it's a big part of Avatar 1. It's a big part of
a lot of James Horner scores.
Let's move on to Wakanda Forever, which was composed by one of our favorite composers, Ludwig Göransson. I'm telling you right now, I'm giving the point to him. He's done these scores: The Mandalorian, Tenet, which I know you love, one of your favorite movies. Venom, which we've covered here. He's a collaborator of Ryan Coogler with his work in Fruitvale Station, Creed, and Black Panther. And most recently, Göransson did the score for Oppenheimer. Great score.
Yes, he did.
Tell me, Michael, what do you think of his score?
You know, we did Venom not too long ago, Venom versus Upgrade. And I think you and I were both a little disappointed in Ludwig. But here he is with Black Panther Wakanda Forever, and he does not disappoint. It's a great score. It's complicated. It feels infused with, you know, rhythms from Africa. It feels like a lot to undertake, you know? It feels I think this film must have felt like a huge responsibility to everybody involved. The MCU is a juggernaut. Chadwick Boseman, one of the most beloved members of the MCU, and you know, Ryan Coogler coming back after a successful outing with Black Panther 1 and having to do it again without his star. Everybody else steps up, including Ludwig Göransson. It's a wonderful, wonderful score. The maybe strangest thing about it is it's hard to listen to separate from the film. I think it's very complimentary to the film, and I agree that that's where this point is going. It changes instrumentation and it changes rhythm so much. It's a unique exercise to, say, watch that first scene with Shuri. In my head, I didn't really remember score from that moment, but when I went back to listen to it on its own, I recognized that it was tastefully enhancing that opening scene. Not only did he write this banger score, but he wrote and produced the Rihanna song, Lift Me Up, which plays at the end credits, which are kind of the main credits of the film. It's a beautiful song. I love music. I love pop songs that are written specifically for movies as a subgenre. And it's an exceptional pop song. It's exceptionally performed by Rihanna. The song itself had additional writing from Rihanna, Ryan Coogler, and Thames, and it's a great track.
And one of the tracks on the score and one of the motifs, score-wise, is Okoye's music, which is called We Know What You Whisper. It's that whistling African beat that starts every time they're in battle.
You know what was also notable, written by Ludwig, is the siren song of the Talakan people.
That was pretty good.
It's really good, and it feels really original, even though that notion of, you know, being called to the sea by like a mermaid or something is hundreds of years old. I feel like they asked a lot of him for this film, and he delivered. Not only a great score, though, in Black Panther Wakanda Forever, some great needle drops, some great pop songs. One that I wanted to mention is during the police chase that leads up to the bridge fight, a song called They Want It But No. I'm going to try and pronounce this. Toby Nwigwe and Fat Nwigwe are the artists. Good track. Great for the film.
Great music across the board. I also like the music that they played during the funeral. It's called Funeral by Baba Mal and Ludwig Göransson. Great song. Overall, this is a surefire win for Ludwig.
Let's give him the point.
Round 9. The best director / which movie was directed better. I know what I'm going to say here because I thought about this a lot and it pains my heart to say what I'm going to say, but It's a well-deserved one. So, you want me to get into it or you want to get into it?
Hit me with it.
On one side, we have James Cameron, one of the most commercially successful, game-changing directors of all time, someone who has always put strong female characters on the forefront. On the other side, we have one of the most exciting young black directors in Hollywood, Ryan Coogler. Ryan Coogler has put amazing black characters in the forefront. And in Black Panther, Ryan also puts a lot of strong female black characters in the forefront. Here are their filmographies. James Cameron has directed Piranha 2, The Terminator, Terminator 2 Judgment Day, The Abyss, True Lies, I love True Lies, Titanic, and the Avatar movies. What do you think of James Cameron's direction of Avatar 2, The Way of Water?
So, I mean, you mentioned his whole filmography, right? James Cameron, who is this huge force in pop culture, has directed 9 movies. 9 movies total. And this is not his best work. It's strange to me how invested he is in Avatar. I was reading a little bit today about how he was originally considering directing Alita Battle Angel.
Oh, that would have been cool.
That would have been something. He decided to do Avatar first, and I think we've lost James Cameron, which is...
We have James Cameron, the inventive filmmaker, but we have lost James Cameron, the storyteller. And just
the technical executioner.
Yeah. To elaborate on that, I can specify iconic moments from his movies. So Sigourney Weaver in a mech suit saying, "Get away from her, you bitch," in Aliens. We have the truck bursting into the LA waterway in Terminator 2. We have the Harrier jet in True Lies. All these iconic things I remember from his movies. In Avatar 1
Titanic from Titanic.
The Titanic sinking from Titanic, which is kind of done in Avatar 2. In both Avatar 1 and Avatar 2, I cannot tell you one iconic moment. Could you?
No.
You took a long pause there.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, it's really tough, right? So what we're saying here is we have a ton of respect for James Cameron. We have a lot of love for James Cameron for these stories that he's brought into our lives.
And he's one of the most commercially successful directors that ever lived.
And I was watching some behind the scenes video where the effects shop was creating the different metal effects from Terminator 2 and rewatched Terminator 2 shortly thereafter. And to see how he was using special effects shots in a minimalist fashion to connect shots which had incredible practical prosthetics and effects work going on. The one that struck me was when the T-1000 gets blasted with a shotgun.
And that's a real practical effect.
Yeah, there's a guy in. Actually, I think that is like a wire controlled thing. But when he's like split open, and he's kind of got this big gap in his head, that's a physical creation. I also noticed the shot near the end when they're in the steel factory, when the T-1000 puts his long, pointy steel finger through Sarah Connor's shoulder. There's a visual effect, a digital visual effect that shows us the elongation of the finger, and then a whip pan that gets us to that shot where the finger is through the shoulder. And that's practical. The second part of that is practical. So, computers have made James Cameron a monster. And
But you know what? So I think we're both leading Ryan Coogler here, but I want to say this about Avatar and Avatar 2, which is these movies are great to watch in 3D. James Cameron has figured out 3D.
It is great to watch, yeah.
And these are absolutely digital creatures, but when we're watching them, they feel real. They feel like real creatures, real people talking, emoting, going through their struggles.
I think it's very impressive for a Disney ride, and it's not as impressive at home.
But in terms of investment in story and character, I'm far removed in Avatar 1 and Avatar 2. And The Way of Water also has an incredibly dumb plot. If the goal was to get Jake to stop robbing the humans, once Jake moves away, why are they still chasing him? Ryan Coogler, let's get to him. Yeah? He has directed Fruitvale Station, Creed, and Black Panther 2. What do you think of Ryan Coogler's direction in Black Panther Wakanda Forever?
He's an exciting young filmmaker. Like I said, the deck was stacked against this movie. It shouldn't be that good, and it's really good. And it's really good because of the writing and the directing and the acting.
I'm one of the few people who did not love Black Panther as much as the general population, the first one. And I'm a complete convert with Ryan Coogler's direction in Wakanda Forever. Also his writing. He wrote the script, just like James Cameron wrote Avatar 2. Mad props to him. He has achieved something special here. It's an emotional movie. It has strong female black characters. It has dense production design, highlighting cultural African aesthetics in a very strong way. And then he doubles down with showing us Mesoamerican design and aesthetics on top of that in a very strong way. So he gives us a compelling villain. He gave us Killmonger in the first one, which was, in my opinion, the best part of the first Black Panther. And then he gives us a compelling villain in this one as well. You know, I'm invested in the decisions of the characters, the motivations of the characters, what they want. It's just a much, much better movie than The Way of Water.
Ryan Coogler started the pattern of taking a successful independent film director and then immediately giving them a superhero film.
It had been done before, no? I mean, that was an ongoing thing, wasn't it?
I think it's been ongoing.
Chris Nolan is a great example. He went to Batman Begins.
Batman Begins isn't the most superhero film of superhero films. And Chris Nolan had done big budget films, had done studio films. Same thing happened, I forget the name of the woman who directed Nomadland, who then went on to direct Eternals. You've got the director of Marcel the Shell, who will be directing a live-action Lilo and Stitch. This is a thing that's happened since Ryan Coogler. And
I see what you're saying about, I guess, the biggest jump from independent. Nolan's was maybe not the biggest jump.
A lot of directors start small and they work their way up. But this notion of, you know, here's an authentic indie auteur and we're going to give them $100 million. Ryan Coogler was one of the earlier examples of that, and I think the best so far.
Money well spent, Disney. Good job.
And his partnership with Michael B. Jordan continues to pay dividends. Michael B. Jordan directed Creed 3.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
And I really, really, really liked it.
Oh, that's cool. This movie was also shot over the pandemic, which was a bigger challenge to it than James Cameron in Way of Water. So the effects of the pandemic, working in the pandemic, did not show in the final results of the movie. So pretty happy about that.
Want to avoid a pandemic, you go to Pandora, you shoot your movie there.
All right, put it on the board for Ryan Coogler, Best Director for Wakanda Forever. Round 10. Best Cinematography or Best Shot. This one's going to be an extremely tough one for me, so I'm going to go over to the cinematographers and talk about their work. And you give me your thoughts, okay? First up is Avatar 2 cinematographer Russell Carpenter. These are some of the movies that he has done. True Lies, Titanic. He has also done Shallow Hal, Charlie's Angels Full Throttle, Monster-in-Law, 21, This Means War, Jobs, which will be appearing on this podcast. He did Ant-Man, and he did XXX, Return of Xander Cage. What do you think?
Give him the point, XXX. I don't know how to quantify the cinematography of this movie. There are beautiful images.
Can you see that there's a difference between Avatar 1 and Avatar 2 in the way that the movie looks?
Yes. And I think that's mostly impacted by how much underwater photography there is. And how untethered it can then feel. I don't know how you board a movie like this. The fact that it is visually coherent is impressive when you're talking about characters, whether they are featured characters or background characters, being able to move freely in 360-degree space, and you never really feel like you're losing track of them. That's probably the best thing that I could say about the photography of this film. Again, I, as a person who's not very well versed with digital post-production, digital effects in post-production, practical photography for digital effects in post-production, I know that some of these shots are 100% animated.
All of them are 100% animated.
Well, but they are motion capture.
Yeah. I mean, that's the big technological breakthrough in Avatar. They're all fully animated movie. This is a fully animated movie.
Yeah.
You can call this an animated
And
movie.
I don't want to say that I don't value animation, and I don't want to like poo-poo the. God, I hate when I say that. I don't want to speak ill or sound like I'm speaking ill of digital animators who are wildly skilled. So I have some shots written down here. The shots of the sky people returning, the shots from space, right? When they look up and they say, a new star. It can mean only one thing. It's the sky people returning. Those shots in space, and we come down to the planet, which is being set afire by the crafts, the landing crafts. And it struck me that, James Cameron got to kind of redo his like nuclear holocaust effect from T2. As we literally watch the world burn. It's beautiful and it's visceral. And I really don't. Is that the work of the cinematographer? I don't even know anymore.
Yeah, it's like the Life of Pi thing when the cinematographer won for that, and we were like, well, what did he do?
Yeah, and frankly, I don't know. That maybe it is all him. Maybe it's all him.
Yeah.
But part of me doubts it. But
there's an at-length interview by him that I read where he talked about how it was to shoot underwater and how James Cameron had given him all the tools that he needs for lighting. And he definitely had a very skilled team of technicians to support his vision and for him to support James Cameron's vision. So it's definitely a very good place for a successful cinematographer to be.
I think James Cameron, in his real life, understands how difficult and impressive the exploration of the sea is and how much mystery there is. And that's a tough sell. I think he understands something that is hard to translate to us. So when he says, well, the reason it's 15 years between Avatar and Avatar 2 is because Avatar 2 is underwater. And you and I can look at each other and be like,
Black Panther 2 is underwater, buddy.
And there's shots in Skyfall that are underwater. And 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, Walt Disney shot underwater. It's an uphill battle there, I think, for him to convince other people of the level of achievement that we're seeing. I don't doubt that it's an achievement. I'm not sure how much I care.
Well, he's got a $2.3 billion to say that he's good.
That's true. The thing is, before it came out and people were saying, like, watch Avatar 2 bomb, I was very vocal in saying, James Cameron understands something about the movies that we don't, and it will not flop.
I think other than Abyss, he's never had a flop. So, first of all, mad props to Ryan Coogler to work with female cinematographers. It is great to have a major Hollywood director to work with female cinematographer in what is largely a male-dominated profession. This is the third female director of photography that he's worked with. Wakanda Forever cinematographer is Autumn Durald Arkepow. I think I'm saying her name right. She's done 6 episodes of the Loki TV show. She's done a few commercials and a few music videos. And then other than Wakanda Forever, her only other feature film credit is a movie called Mainstream that stars Andrew Garfield. Have you seen that one?
I have not.
What do you think of Autumn Durald Archipelag's cinematography in Wakanda Forever?
I think in the realm of superhero films, it stands out as being very competently shot. The locations feel very tangible, I would say, with the exception of the underwater world of Tolakan. I think part of that is because they built actual sets, like Shuri's lab feels like a physical set, and Riri's garage, where she builds her Iron Man-like suit, feels like a real set. So I think shooting in actual environments is a big benefit. But I do think that they bring unique and original visuals to the table when it comes to the digital creations as well. We talked about the water grenade things, and the first time those explode under the car and we overcrank, which gives us slow motion, it's really something we hadn't seen before, and it's definitely eye-catching. So I think it's exceptional work that does not get in the way when it's a scene between two actors who are trying to emote, And when it needs to be flashy, it can do that too.
To what you said, yeah, I think she did a great job. So my big gripe against the first Black Panther cinematography was that it looked incredibly fake, especially the war rhinos. War rhinos were just like, took me right out of the movie. I think Autumn brings a lot of realism to this fantasy tale. Besides the sea leopard scene, which I thought was like the fakest looking thing in the whole movie, I think the rest of the movie looks really great and believable. Besides the production design and wardrobe that we mentioned, and I want to say their names, production designer Hannah Beechler and costume designer Ruth E. Carter.
Respect.
So, Autumn Archipelago cinematography comes in strong to support that. I learned this term because of this movie, which is dry for wet and also wet for wet, which has to do with if you're shooting a scene that takes place in water, if you don't have water there, you're shooting dry for wet. And if you're shooting in water, you're shooting wet for wet. So learned that because of this movie's BTS.
There was an interesting shot. I think it's during Shuri's Black Panther vision where she comes out of the water. She's swimming underwater in a dress. And when she gets out of the water, she's totally dry.
Well, it's a dream.
Yeah, I know. I just thought it was cool.
To me, the standout moments of Autumn cinematography are the funeral scene, which we have celebrated. And then we have the Shuri burns off the ceremonial clothes at the end of the movie. And to me, those are the shots that separate the cinematography of this movie from other superhero movies. The realism, the documentary-like nature of those shots. So I want to give it to Autumn Archipelago. What do you think?
I agree.
All right, put it on the board, Michael. Round 11. Best quote / best dialogue. I really enjoy your performances in this round, so I'm looking forward to what you're going to cook up here. For Avatar 2, these are the dialogues I wrote down. Quaritch says to Scoresby, I will be nice once, then I won't. Did you have that?
Nope.
And then I have Scoresby, who says during the final battle, someone shoot something. And then the final one I have written down is Took saying, I can't believe I'm tied up again. That's all I have.
Oh man, yeah, I wrote that down in my notes. That was a little tangent. Can you read that line again?
I can't believe I'm tied up again.
I can't believe it either. Come up with something new, Jimmy. It's also the distillation of my biggest criticism for the Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, which overall I really enjoyed Dial of Destiny, except this notion of catch and release that the villains have with our heroes, where the heroes are on the run and they get caught, and they're on the run and they get caught, and they're on the run and they get caught. And it just feels like one too many go-arounds of, oh my God, I've been captured again.
That's always going on in movies.
Yeah, but it feels very pointed in that film and in this film. And it feels strange to draw such attention to it by having one of the characters speak that truth.
What are the dialogues that you wrote down?
I have Quaritch early in the movie says, why so blue?
Yeah.
Oh, man. Quaritch says to Loak, where is your father? Loak says, in Navi. I don't speak English. To buttholes. So the word buttholes appears on the screen in Avatar font.
Beautiful.
Later in the film, when one of the mermen, one of the water tribe, is harassing Kiri, Loak hits one of them and he says, it's called a punch, bitch.
I'm not inspired by any of the dialogues that I wrote down.
I had to dig for these.
Yeah.
During the climactic battle, one of the evil Na'vi, one of the evil avatars, picks up Kiri and says, let's go, Buttercup, get up. And Kiri says, I'm not your Buttercup, perv. And I really liked the unfounded perv accusation.
All right, I'm not inspired by any of these dialogues. Let's move on to Wakanda Forever. So I have for Wakanda Forever, M'Baku saying to Okoye, you bald-headed demon.
I got it.
You want to say it? You want to do the delivery?
No, nobody can do it. Nobody can do it like Winston Duke.
I have Angela Bassett's Queen Ramonda monologue. Do you want to do that one? If you have it?
All of these feel over my head.
I'm queen of the most powerful nation in the world, and my entire family is gone. Have I not given everything? I'll take my Oscar. Thank you very much.
She also has, I really like I really like the first line of this little piece of dialogue from the UN meeting. She says, "You perform civility here." I feel like we could think about that for a long time. You perform civility here, but we know what you whisper in your halls of leadership and in your military facilities. The king is dead. The Black Panther is gone. They have lost their protector. Now is the time to strike.
That's good. That's good stuff.
Good writing.
Finally, the last one I have written down is M'Baku saying to Shuri, "The world has taken too much from you for you to be still considered a child." That's all I got. What else you got?
I have a line, Okoye, to Riri. You have two choices. You can come to Wakanda conscious or unconscious.
I missed that one.
I liked it. When Namor says in his first interaction with the Queen, "I have more soldiers than this land has blades of grass."
All right, that's good. That's good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to...
Did he, though? It didn't seem like he did.
No, it didn't necessarily seem like he did, but I believed him when he said that.
Yeah. I was waiting for that big army to show up, which it never did.
I got one more, actually. It happens when the police are raiding Riri's garage. They kick the door open, they rush in, and one of them goes, "Ah, she got an Iron Man suit."
That was good. Yeah. That was a good one. I don't care which one you pick here. You have more.
We both wrote the bald-headed demon line.
All right, you bald-headed demon.
You bald-headed
gets the point.
demon. I'm gonna call you that.
Round 12. Which movie gets the Good Time at the Movies award? I'm curious to see what you have to say about this.
Well, before you presented me with that question, I thought it was clearly Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. But now that you've made me think about it for 3.5 seconds, Avatar 2 was a good time at the movies.
Not on the rewatch.
Definitely not on the rewatch, but...
On the first one, there was like a good chunk. You know, I mentioned the nature documentary.
Yeah.
That's not a good time at the movies. See, okay, here's my...
I wanted to give it a moment's thought. I'm not disagreeing with you.
My child, who is under 10, watched the whole 3-hour movie without looking. Yeah. In 3D. Well, I think she was impressed by 3D. And I think as a 3D movie in IMAX, it's impressive.
But that's what I'm saying. We've been very hard on Jim Cameron here today.
Are you giving a sympathy point to Jim Cameron?
I'm leaning that direction.
All right, hold on. Let me just say this. Wakanda Forever is much more engaging, and I'm more interested in the goals of the characters in Wakanda Forever. Avatar 2, I've mentioned this to you many times before. What have I said about Avatar 2?
Yeah, okay, I'm sold. Sold.
What have I said about Avatar 2? What can you do?
James Cameron can sleep on his $2 billion. He's not going to be upset if I'm disappointed in this movie.
What can you do during Avatar 2? Anytime you want.
Pee break?
Anytime you want during watching Avatar 2, you can get up, go to the bathroom, come back, and you would not have missed a thing.
That's fair.
Wakanda Forever gets a point.
It's a good time at the movies.
Let's take a break, sir. Let's get more surgical, Michael. Next up is genre-specific categories. We debated this prior to coming into this recording. Avatar 2 qualifies as sci-fi and action. Black Panther 2 qualifies as action, superhero, and sci-fi. So we settled on sci-fi. I feel like that covers both these movies. Round 13. Which movie has the best lab partner? For Avatar 2, I wrote down Scoresby, who is a seaman in charge of hunting down Tulkuns to get their brain juice. What do you think?
You also have the Jermaine Clement character.
Who's that?
He is the gentleman from Flight of the Conchords, and
is he the other guy?
He's the doctor who says, like, this is why I drink.
Okay, yeah.
He also co-wrote and starred in the What We Do in the Shadows film.
Oh, he did. Oh, yes, he did.
Which is exceptional. And I've gone...
Taika Waititi's movie, really great.
I've gone back and forth on the TV show. I think they really found their tone in the new season. Some seasons have been great and some not so great. I'm really enjoying the new.
I knew I recognized him. Thanks
so
for
far.
putting it together for me.
He's not a terribly standout character, though. And Scoresby is a total a-hole.
That's it? That's all you have to say?
So I'm trying to think of who else is on the table here,
hold on.
right?
Let me make a...
Spider, could he be your lab partner?
No. Let me sell you on Scoresby, okay?
Okay.
Ignore his morals. He seems to make smart decisions about how to go about getting the best results for the task at hand. He seems to have worked really hard trying to figure out how to get the brain juice out of the Tulkuns. He has implemented the infrastructure and specialist teams necessary to execute the Tulkun hunt. He's a great coordinator. He's very hands-on. He's not afraid to get his hands dirty until he loses his entire arm, of course. And he's very pragmatic. He will make a deal. He will make the most sensible deal to make him come on top. So he seems to be respectful of the desires of the local tribespeople by not hunting near their waters. And, I just like how practical he is and how he's a go-getter and he solves problems. And he seems to be like a good hang, too. I would have a beer with him.
He has an interesting line, which might be inspirational in a collaborator sort of way. He says, if you can't get out of it, you might as well get into it.
Yeah. He seems to have the same type of, having given up on the world philosophy like I do. He would be my choice for best lab partner. Have I convinced you?
In terms of the people that are presented in Avatar 2, he lives indoors, which elevates him amongst a lot of the characters. I mean, I don't, this guy's, he's a villain to me, but just to move this conversation along, I will say, okay, fine.
In Wakanda Forever, it's between Shuri, Riri, and Namor. And when I thought about it a little bit more, I arrived at Namor as the strongest lab partner. What do you think?
Explain yourself.
Shuri and Riri are pretty smart and capable, but they're mostly lab rats. Shuri actually, even as Black Panther, gets herself stabbed through the stomach. And Riri, towards the end of the movie, is basically about to be taken out by Namor's Blue Lieutenant. Namor, on the other hand, seems to have figured out scientific strategies to battle the Wakandans, which is the strongest nation on the surface. He has figured out how to defeat the American military. He figured out the siren singing. He figured out the water grenades. He figured out how to get out of the drying chamber using his spear. He always seems to have an attack or a defense plan, depending on whichever situation you put him in. He also has a huge advantage. He has the wisdom of the ages. And he can fly.
Does the problem that he wants you dead present any issue?
If I'm his lab partner, he would not want me dead.
I think if you are not one of his kind, that you are potentially his enemy. You are likely his enemy.
This question does not hinge upon that question.
I don't want my lab partner to wish me death.
What if...
I think you are really going out of your way to be cute here.
I'm not trying to be
You
cute.
have two
perfectly capable...
brilliant, young women of color who invent, who create, who 3D print, who do their own wardrobe design.
I mean, I feel like you're trying to be cute now, but okay.
I'm spitting facts.
All right, well, who do you pick between Shuri and Riri?
I think Riri is one of the missteps of Wakanda Forever. I think she's underdeveloped. She's a side character, but she's treated like a main character when she is on screen. And it feels like she's there because she's going to have a Disney Plus series, which I found out today she will. I like the fact that Shuri is capable of growth as a person, and I think she balances the demands of being a leader with her desire to get her hands dirty. And in fact, we see that at the end of the film when she surrenders the throne to M'Baku, which is a Disney Plus series that I would much rather see. M'Baku in charge.
So you pick Shuri because, this might get you the much desired point for Avatar 2. Because I have one question for you. Is Shuri reliable?
Yes, she invented beads that literally do anything you need them to when you need them to do it.
Shuri gets away from...
I'm not giving this man who attacked a whale the point.
Because he attacked...
Ace up my sleeve, Shuri.
Should I Uno reverse and give the whale hunting man a point? Nah, I'll save it for later. Round 14. Which movie has the greatest threat? In Avatar 2, the threat seems to be that Jake Sully's family will be destroyed, and over a period of hundreds of years, Pandora will be colonized by humans.
I don't think it's going to take that long.
But the humans have been defeated by natives before, so I don't think that's a huge threat, because I think the natives could do it again. And I'm surprised that they don't do it in this movie. In Wakanda Forever, the greatest threat seems to be that Namor might go to war against the rest of the world. This could lead to a lot of things, but Namor would need Wakanda for landlocked nations to be conquered, or like the middle of desert nations. He doesn't seem to have control over like giant tsunami waves or melting ice caps. So, those are the two threats, unless you can think of something else.
It struck me that while I am not a fan of the nuclear arms race, that one well-placed A-bomb could really take the wind out of Namor's sails. And let's be fair, when push comes to shove, the U.S. has a way of doing things. I think Namor, I think he's rightfully confident against the Wakandans, but he hasn't met Uncle Sam.
So he's not the greatest threat then?
I think...
And then, the movie also fails to show how the humans are impacting his way of life.
Yeah.
I mean, we know that's the ocean pollution.
He's definitely taking a preemptive strike move here. So I do believe the threat that the sky people / humans pose to all the characters that we know and love from Avatar is the greater threat. Because I do believe they will destroy that planet just like we've destroyed our own.
All right, let's let Avatar 2 swim up to the surface for a much-needed point. Round 15. Which movie has the best gadget? This one should be exciting. In Avatar 2, we have the Avatar bodies themselves. We have submarines designed like crabs. Would you call them crabs?
Yeah, they're crabby.
With claws to grab stuff underwater. We have giant mech suits. We have giant bulldozers. We have the helicopter-sized aircrafts. Let's call them the helicrafts, which are incredibly similar to the ones in Wakanda Forever. So another twin movie, twinage. And that's all I got. You want to add any gadgets?
My favorite gadget from Avatar 2 are the building swarms.
What's a building swarm?
They're these, they're probably the size of a car, but they look like little spiders, and they build the buildings. And you hear Edie Falco say they can put up a building in 2 days.
Oh, yeah.
And you just see them kind of going around in the background. And to me, an autonomous construction robot is a great gadget.
Cool. And you like that more than the Avatar suit?
We've seen the Avatar suit. The body it's, Pandora did it first, right? It was a natural occurrence before it was artificial. When you mentioned the crabby submarine, you reminded me of something I wanted to talk about, which is, it's not the crabby submarine, it's the other kind of submarine. There's a shot during the climactic battle where the hull is breached and you see water pour in. And that's one of my favorite shots of the movie.
That's in the best scene that we picked.
Right.
Yeah.
I do wonder. So the way that water is animated and depicted in the film throughout, very impressive. And that shot, when we're in the cabin as the water comes rushing in, reminded me, while watching the movie, that nothing looks like real water. Like, nothing looks as good as real water being used.
Oh, so they use real water in the scene?
Yes, yeah. And they use real water a little bit later, too, as it's overtaking the ship and you see people getting knocked down. And I don't know why, throughout Avatar, I'm like, that water, that's I know it's animated, but it looks real, looks great. And then when I see real water, I'm like, oh, that water looks like crap. Why would you show me how good a practical effect looks like in the middle of a film where you're trying to convince me that your animated water is just as good?
Yeah, what do you think of the grenade water?
It's cartoonish, but it's visually
it's
interesting.
Yeah.
Yes, it's interesting to look at.
Let's jump to Wakanda Forever, where water grenades are on top of my list here.
Okay, yeah.
And then we also have the 3D printer, and then we have the airship that I mentioned, which is also in Avatar 2. The bracelets, which are like a smartphone and the defibrillator built in.
I don't really like the all-in-one gadget.
And then we have the Black Panther suit. What am I missing here?
Got the Iron Man suit, the Ironheart suit, the new one.
Yeah, that was not.
I don't know that
impressive.
it's anything we've ever seen before.
I think one of the things that Wakanda Forever does not do a great job at is creating the visual representation of what goes on inside the Iron Man / the other.
Yeah, That's not done as well as it used to.
The animation is not as good as it is in the Iron Man movies. Anyways, continue.
I don't know if I have anything to add.
Would you pick water grenades as the best tech?
Sure, because I really like the building spider.
All right, so it's building spider versus water grenades. What do you think?
Of all the things that I felt during while watching Avatar: The Way of Water, one of the things that gave me the most joy was the building robot. I also like
you've been doing the back of your house. It'd be nice to do the back of your house.
Oh yeah, and it's been hot too. I feel, I've lived in my house for 5 years, tried to get some of this stuff done, finally broke down and hired people, and it just turned out to be the hottest, most humid week I've ever experienced here in New Jersey. And I just felt awful watching these guys work. But they did an excellent job.
So you could have used a couple of these robots. Okay, we can give it to Avatar too. Construction robots.
Sold.
Twin movie special categories. This is the bread and butter of this podcast. Both movies have several things in common. Both movies' main events take place 1 year after something major happens in the first few minutes of the movie. They each have the 1 year later title card in the beginning of the movie. Both movies have elaborate scenes where someone is trying to kill a main character who is in the water, chasing them in the flying thing. Both movies have a foreign language translated in a fancy font. Both movies have elaborate funeral scenes. Both movies have single-person submarines. I guess the Avatar 2 is double people. In both movies, a beaded bracelet is crucial to the story. In both movies, the protagonist goes through the water really, really fast scene. Both movies have giant whales that are important to the story. In both movies, ancestors play a very important role in the story. People go through a process to turn blue and gain special abilities in both movies. And that is just to name a few similarities. Michael has not seen this list, so he'll be surprised with what I have.
It's news to me.
So we are going to dive much deeper into the water. Round 16. Which movie has the best giant boat on which the final battle takes place?
Well, HT, as you know, I'm a Lego enthusiast. And there was a set that came out in 2022 featuring the boat from the climactic scene of Black Panther: Wakanda Forever.
The Sea Leopard.
And nobody bought it because it's a rather uninspiring creation. For some reason, nobody rides in the boat. They're all on top of the boat.
Yeah, what's happening in the rest of the boat?
It's not visually interesting. I don't really understand its method of propulsion. It's ugly.
But it doesn't drown.
I'm just not. I'm not impressed by the fact that the fictional boat doesn't sink.
It has invisibility power.
I think the boat in Avatar: The Way of Water is more thought through, plays an integral part in the story. I like that the boat can sit in the water and then at speed it can rise out of the water. I like the tangible feeling of the big air fans that propel it. I get a sense of how the boat works, and we spend some time in the cabin and we see Spider jack up their throttle system so that it crashes into the rocks later.
By the way, I love the shots in the movie. We did not mention this during cinematography. Is the standout shots in the movie were when the boats like go up and down, and the people who are hanging onto the boat, they go up and down.
Yeah, that's a cool shot.
Those are great shots. And there were a few other shots where the camera was where the hands of the people are grabbing the animal that they're flying on, and you get that point of view as they're taking off. Those were some standout shots in the movies.
I wrote down onboard shots. There's some shots during the fight sequence where you're on board either the submarine or one of these creatures, and it's very effective, and I'm surprised they didn't cut to that more often because they're very visceral shots. You know, when you watch these films, you know that these vehicles are created and they serve the purpose that the film needs. We know that the boat in Avatar, it needs to hold the crab submarine and the two-person submarine, and it needs to have these fans and all these things. You know, it does not feel like every piece of the boat is written for the film. It feels like it fits appropriately in the world and in the story of Avatar. Whereas the boat in Wakanda Forever is a platform on which to have a fight and nothing more.
Yeah. Even though it can become invisible and cannot sink you would still not give it a point. That's fine. I don't care.
I'm not talking about the effectiveness of the boat itself. I'm talking about the effectiveness of the creation within the film.
When nobody's crashing the boat in Avatar 2 is better. Round 17. Which movie has the best underwater rescue scene? So, for Avatar 2, we have Neytiri and Jake being saved by their children. Mm-hmm. And in Wakanda Forever, we have Queen Ramonda rescuing Riri. So one is definitely way more emotional than the other. The other one may be more drawn out with beautiful technical 3D stuff going on and the Way of the Water poem laid on top of it.
It goes worse for Queen Ramonda.
Queen Ramonda does not survive the rescue.
Yeah.
But she's not the one being rescued. She's the one rescuing Riri.
Yeah.
And it has that beautiful imagery of her rising with Riri in the water.
It's a little confusing to me though. When they get back to the throne room, Riri is out of the water.
Yeah, Queen Ramonda has rescued her.
Yeah, but she didn't make it out of the water. It's a great scene though. It's a great scene.
Emotional.
Yeah. I feel as though Kiri bringing in the little glowy sea butterflies feels a little Deus ex machina.
I feel they laid enough groundwork to show that she was possibly capable.
Well, that's the groundwork is there to justify it in the end.
Well, Deus ex machina usually refers to something that
that's
just
not
pops out of nowhere.
referenced at all.
I also have one. So I personally, emotionally, I like the Wakanda Forever scene better. But when I thought about it a little bit, even though the movie tells you that Queen Ramonda cares for Riri, do you feel that she cares for Riri?
No.
That's the missing puzzle piece for me.
I agree. Because Riri says she protected me like her own. And I was like, okay. You know what I love? An upside down boat.
Yeah.
Give me an upside down boat. Perfect Storm, any day of the week.
Yeah. Perfect Storm. Great movie. Put it on the board for Avatar 2, sir. There were a couple of categories that I had put in, which I had removed because I felt like the audience won't like to hear about this. But I just want to get a quick brainstorming here. You can just tell me your immediate reaction answer to this. First one, which movie has the best upset mommy?
Neytiri
after she goes ape on the boat, killing a bunch of Marines when her son dies. And on the flip side, we have Queen Ramonda, who's very upset about Shuri getting kidnapped during the emotional scene in the throne room.
So is it which one is a better mother or which one is better at being upset?
It's a broad question. Which movie has the best upset movie?
I think Queen Ramonda is a great mother figure. She is worldly and knowledgeable, and I think
the best upset mommy.
I think she's protective while giving her children room to make their own mistakes. Neytiri does a lot of wailing after something bad happens, but she's not a very proactive mother.
Oh yeah, she's absent.
Yeah, and you know, Jake Sully's this really like militant kind of dad. He's kind of a jerk. I had a lot of sympathy for the kids in Avatar: The Way of Water.
So you're with Queen Ramonda on this one?
Yeah.
All right.
Forever and always.
Here's the next one, which I took out. Which movie has the best a child brings comfort to the protagonist at the end of the movie scene?
Okay, so we've got the little T'Challa.
Little T'Challa shows up at the beach.
Yep.
And
Great
then
smile on that kid.
And then we have Jake Sully looks at memories of his deceased son as a young boy. That was probably the most effective scene.
I got to go with the real live child here.
Yeah?
Young T'Challa and future Black Panther.
Good enough for me. Let's move on to the real competition here. Round 18. Which movie has the best scene of destruction by fire of the home of the local community by the bad guy? So Avatar 2 has Quaritch destroy the entire village of the people who don't give up Jake's location. Wakanda Forever has a scene where Namor, as a child, destroys the property of the Spanish colonists.
Ooh, yeah.
And then the colonists give him the name Namor, the child
without love.
Without love. So again, I think the main difference here is that Wakanda Forever scene, even though not as glamorous, is probably more emotional.
Oh, you think so? I would put the Namor flashback up there with the funeral sequence and the opening scene as examples of hard targets, tough things to do. It's really hard to give me a ton of exposition in the middle of a movie regarding a character that I don't really care that much about and have it not kind of take me out of the film. And also make it believable that a man has little ankle wings.
Yeah, I was pretty surprised by that because part of the reason why I did not watch Wakanda Forever in theaters was the wings. But then I watched it at home and I'm like, did a pretty good job with this.
They did a pretty good job. They do a really good job of kind of mentioning it and then not focusing on it. So I would disagree with you. And I would say that I'm more impressed with how effective the Namor backstory is. And I also think that there's no doubt that James Cameron is bringing in themes of environmentalism and colonization, but the film's much more focused on the family, you know? It's the blue version of Fast and Furious. Whereas maybe the hardest lines to swallow in Black Panther Wakanda Forever are Shuri, who says, "When do I get to see my favorite colonizer?" If you told me that line was going to be in the movie, I would suspect it would fall flat. But it doesn't. It works. It's tough to make social messaging front and center in a popular film, let alone a superhero film. And the story of Namor is presented as the story of oppressed people everywhere. It succeeds at that. And I think, again, they set a high bar and they tried to do a lot with it. And I think they succeeded.
I thought it was a great scene too. So even though the Avatar 2 scene was more flashy, I like the Namor scene better. They needed more of these emotions in Avatar 2.
Yes, we're told that there's a lot of emotion.
Okay. You will not see this one coming. You cannot
This better
guess.
be good.
You cannot guess
You're
this
building
one.
it up.
Round 19. Which movie has the best magical child? All right, I see you shaking your head.
We've already dug into the magical child a little bit.
So Avatar 2 has Kiri, played by Sigourney Weaver, which is odd, listening to a senior citizen's voice come out of a kid's mouth.
Yeah, it's not great. It's not great.
Kiri is often referred to as weird by other characters in the movie. She can talk to Iwa, the nature mother of the entire planet. She can influence creatures and plants. She can hear Iwa. She says that Iwa sounds mighty, which I think was a great moment in the movie. Wakanda Forever has Namor, the child. He has slow aging. He can breathe on land and in water. He has wings that let him fly and do all types of maneuvers. He is highly respected by his people. I see by the reaction on your face that you were thinking of a different child.
No. I'm just thinking about Namor.
And he's highly respected by his people. He's very smart. He's a great strategist. And both Kiri and Namor are conservationists. They want to save the planet. Which movie has the best magical child, in your opinion, Michael?
I'm really worried that Kiri is just bullshit. You know? What are you thinking?
Much like my lab partner nomination, I think I like Namor a little bit more. He has a lot going on, you know? So I am leaning Namor for
the
that
word
reason.
complex came to mind when I was like, why do I like Namor? He's complex. He has different motivations. He's got a lot on his mind.
Well, think of him as when he was a child going to bury his mother and finds a colonizer.
Yeah, I like a little bit of righteous revenge. All these things, right? The funeral, 2 funerals, managing a scene regarding T'Challa's death. Also, ankle wings, hard sells.
Underwater childbirth.
I remember thinking this when I left seeing Black Panther Wakanda Forever in the theater. If I was a studio executive and you sat me down and you pitched Wakanda Forever, I would have thought you were insane. Blue people, we have a film with blue people already, you know? We've got like Iron Man's successor, we've got the blue people, we've got water grenades, they're immortal, they ride orcas up the Potomac.
I love those shots when there's like a bunch of these blue people like kind of camouflaged with orcas as they're very creepy shots, and the music really complements those moments.
And these characters are going to represent themes of colonization and anti-capitalism, and that's going to make sense as a superhero film. As much of a fan as I am about any individual component in Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, I'm continually impressed by the balls they had to tell this story and the confidence they had in being able to tell it correctly.
Point Wakanda Forever for which movie had the best magical child. And that is the end of all of the categories today. All right, let's take a break, Michael. We'll come back for the count. All right, we're back. Let's go over the tally. You ready?
Ready.
Which film won the race to the cinemas?
Black Panther.
Which film won the box office?
Avatar.
Which film has the best title?
Black Panther.
Wakanda Forever. Which film has the best leading actor?
Wakanda Forever.
What's her name?
Letitia Wright.
Letitia Wright, a rising star. Which film has the best rest of the cast?
Wakanda Forever.
Which film has the best scene?
Wakanda Forever.
I'm surprised that a dramatic scene won over an action scene. So, pretty proud of our work here.
You've joined me, finally.
Which movie has the best title drop?
Wakanda Forever.
Which movie has the best music moment / needle drop?
Wakanda Forever. And our boy Ludwig.
Which movie has the best director?
Wakanda Forever.
Oh my God. Coogler beating out the stalwart, James Cameron. Can you use the word stalwart for like a behind the scenes person?
Sure.
Which movie has the best cinematography?
Wakanda Forever.
I'm hugely surprised. Which movie has the best quote / best dialogue?
Wakanda Forever, you bald demon.
Which movie gets the Good Time at the Movies award?
Wakanda Forever.
Was this an ace up the sleeve?
No, the next one was.
Okay. Which movie has the best lab partner?
Because you wanted to give it to the evil man.
He deserved it. I should have ace up my sleeve, ace up your sleeve.
But I saved the point for Shuri, Wakanda Forever.
I didn't use my ace up my sleeve, huh?
Yeah, you're going home with it in your pocket.
God damn.
Sucker.
All right, which movie has the greatest threat?
Avatar.
Which movie has the best gadget?
Also Avatar.
Oh, wow. They raked up 2 late points there. All right, these are twin movie specific categories. Which movie has the best giant boat on which the final battle takes place?
Avatar.
17. Which movie has the best underwater rescue scene?
Also Avatar.
Which movie has the best scene of destruction by fire of the home of the local community by the bad guy?
Wakanda Forever.
Which movie has the best magical child?
Also Wakanda Forever.
Wow. What are the totals, Michael?
This is a big spread. Biggest blowout we've ever had.
Tell me.
With 5 points, Avatar has fallen to this week's champion. With 14 points, it's Black Panther, Wakanda Forever.
14 points, beating out 5 points?
Beating out the all-time box office champion.
Avatar 2 gets dehydrated by Wakanda Forever, and Black Panther 2, Wakanda Forever, takes the throne in this episode of the Hollywood vs. Hollywood podcast.
Pretty good.
What do you think about the result?
I think if you and I had sat down and gone through these categories prior to rewatching it, I think it would have been closer. I think Avatar is best served in a theater in 3D. I anticipated Avatar: The Way of Water being a financial success because, like I said, James Cameron just has an intuition for movies and the movie-going audience that no one else will ever possess. Don't doubt him when it comes to commercial success. But I remember leaving the theater thinking, I don't need to see Avatar: The Way of Water ever again. And if I do watch it, it's not going to be nearly enjoyable on a two-dimensional screen.
And it wasn't.
It definitely wasn't.
I also cannot remember like one shot from Avatar 2. Like Avatar 1 or Avatar 2. I don't know one single shot from either of these movies, which is like, oh, that shot.
Yeah. It's iconic imagery is definitely lacking in the Avatar series. They will have at least 3 more films to try and figure that out.
Is there 5 now?
There's going to be 5.
God. It would be something if Namor started attacking the human world and then people moved to Pandora.
The crossover that we need.
Signing off from Earth, this is HT with my co-host,
Michael, I was happy to be here.
On the Hollywood vs. Hollywood podcast. Have a nice day. Thank you for listening to the Hollywood vs. Hollywood podcast.
Please rate, review, and subscribe to our podcast wherever you listen.
And connect with us on Instagram at HollywoodVSPod.